Hey, what's good, people? This is the Option Podcast. This is episode 129. That dude is Dyve. Boy's an MC.
What's good?
Strap in. Episode starts right now. Whew, that was loud.
Bro, that's kind of sick, though. I like that intro.
So, ask and ask and ask, and you shall receive. Because for me, I got to give the people what they want. I've got to give the people what they want. What up, Dyve?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yo, you took this trip for me. You took this trip from downtown to the South Bay.
Yeah, well, I don't live downtown. I had to go downtown, and then I had to come back. I hate going downtown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, weekdays going downtown, like I can't do it. And then weekends now they got the games back, so it's just.
Yes. Listen, guys, if you do not like guests who do not know what day of the week it is because we're so into our fucking shit right now, this might not be your episode. So, you a LA product?
Am I from LA?
Yeah.
No, I'm from this kind of like small big town in Washington State called Wenatchee.
Okay.
Yeah, Wenatchee, Washington. So it's like the very center of Washington State. And then I born and raised out there. Ended up living I went to school Eastern Washington, so I stayed on the kind of like central east side of Washington. And then I moved to Seattle, and I was there for like 2 years trying to do music. But I've been out here in LA now for like 3.5 years.
Only 3.5 years?
Yeah, bro, it feels like 10. Which is weird, to say only 3.5, because I feel like I've been here so much longer. Like the last few years have just been going on for forever, you know?
Nah, no doubt. I gotta tell you, this place does make you feel like you've been here longer than you were.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, especially with the whole COVID thing, you know, because that 1 year alone felt like a couple years.
Yep. We just said COVID. We just got flagged. We just said COVID. So you are an MC. Your freestyle game is fierce, and eventually, as we go through this podcast, I'll put some stuff up because I thought it was fun, particularly the thing you did with the rock. I thought that I thought that was really cool.
Nice.
So, I guess for the people who appreciate performance and especially particularly in the field of hip hop, who did you grow up listening to?
So, I'm 26. I was born in 95. I listened to a lot of old school 90s, you got obviously Ice Cube, Method Man, and then even NWA and Snoop Dogg, all that. But when I started getting older, kind of towards middle school, going into high school, that's when I started listening to more Drake and Lil Wayne and J. Cole. J. Cole was probably the most influential artist to me when I was growing up, because we got put onto him, me and one of my best friends got put onto him in 2009, and that was right as J. Cole kind of dropped the warm up and some of his earlier projects that people don't know, and I was like, yo, who is this? Because I loved lyrics growing up, that was my favorite thing. So that's why I like Drake, I like Lil Wayne, Eminem, people who had outstanding lyrics. And then when J. Cole came in, his storytelling was just phenomenal. So that was a huge inspiration to me growing up. And then obviously Kanye, Kanye is one of my favorite artists still. But
that's dope. For me, cause I'm a little bit older, and I'm 51. I'm not gonna be like it's none of y'all business. When you're good looking, 51 is everybody's business. But or ugly looking 35. What we talked about before the podcast, right? I'm 30. I look like a 35-year-old creepy dude. But me growing up, I'm East. I'm on the other side of the country, so it's really Run DMC, right? Rock Box, Houdini, Friends. Friends. How many of us have them?
Yeah.
You saw that Snoop commercial. That's That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
I
was
know
the
what you're
original.
talking about.
That was Houdini.
Yeah.
And Houdini and Run DMC, they were popular in Florida too, as well as New York. But if I want to get into some real like New York stuff, I would say Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
He's just the man does tongue push-ups. He's lyrically gifted. He doesn't. I don't. Yeah, I mean, because it's weird. Because before I could appreciate freestyle rapping, like freestyling, which is something you become acclimated sooner because it was popular when you came up with your age group. I'm like, how many takes did that dude have to do in the studio to not trip over his words? But he was just like that. He was good like that. You know, Big Daddy Kane. You know, as soon as I pick up the microphone and something, blah, 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 and he's like, coughing couldn't stop me from going. I was just like, what? The dude just coughed and it's like coughing couldn't stop me from going.
I haven't seen that video.
Slick Rick.
Okay, yeah, I know Slick Rick.
Tribe Called Quest. Yeah. Everybody, well, basically everyone from the Native Tongues crew, De La Soul, was pretty light. Tribe Called Quest could go light or deep. You know, I thought Fife was not known for his freestyle, but Q-Tip.
Yeah,
Q-Tip was a nasty.
Q-Tip
was a nasty
freestyles.
Yeah.
So there's two different types. Like there's freestyles where
Educate the audience.
where people have like pre-written stuff, but they freestyle over different beats. But it's already kind of pre-written, and they have some verses that they pre-wrote. And then there's freestyles where it's just they've never heard the beat. They don't nothing's pre-written, and they just like literally as they're going freestyle. That's my personal favorite kind of freestyle.
Yeah.
I like the unwritten, and like it's crazy. It's like with anything. Like if you're like an athlete or like whatever you do, like you just have some days where you do really well, and then some days where you do really bad. You know, like you could be like a professional basketball player and have a game where you miss every single shot, but you're still a professional basketball player. Right. And then you have a game where you drop 50. You know, and like I feel like that's similar with freestyling because it's just kind of like I feel like it's all mental. Like everything boils down to like being mental. Like, are you in the mental headspace where you're like feeling good, like everything's going well, and so that's my personal kind of favorite freestyling. But
let's see what someone said. Okay, I can't read that comment yet. It's all right. We'll check it out later. Yeah, guys, we're doing for the people listening on audio. We're doing like of something I call a video hook. We're doing like a live hook on just my personal Facebook account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I can't do the other one. I might use this episode to out him a little bit if we go that route. But right now, I just want because it's volleyball heavy. And this rare occasion I get to have cool dudes like you on. I just want to keep it about you a little bit. So, yeah, the two types of freestyle. And I think 8 Mile, Eminem did a really good job showing people that. Like he had his little rhyme book and he was just writing bits here.
Right,
like
and that was
there.
the first kind of freestyle I was talking about. But they do, like he did a little bit of the second type in there. But when you're like battling, you know, you like, it's more like taking notes, like what things I want to talk about or like rhymes I could be doing and stuff. And then some of it he really presented and showed that it was like off the dome of like what he was wearing or like, you know, whatever. So I feel like that incorporated both types, and that's kind of what battle rapping is. It's like you come in with a few things you want to say and you're like, oh, this, because like you already know something about them or whatever, and then there's things that are situational, like in the moment, what they're wearing, how they're standing, their verse they just did or whatever. And so when you can bring both in for battle rapping, like battle rapping is like a whole different beast.
Yep. Yeah, look, the tank top. I forget what he said about the tank top. He said, Lord, I think you were a little hard with the beaver. So is Eddie Haskell, Wally, and Mrs. Cleaver. Right? The screaming sound like you're paranoid. With the rah-rah, re-rah. That was it.
I ain't hear any of those.
No, is that a tank top or a new bra? Look, Snoop Dogg's got a fucking boob job. Pretty cool.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah. Well,
I remember when I was younger when it came out, because I don't remember what year it came out. But I remember being younger and I saw that and I was like, damn, I want to go up and rap and body somebody. Like my friends and I would freestyle on like the buses to like basketball games or whatever, and like we'd be like freestyling and like battle rapping and stuff just for fun.
And timeline wise, Eminem couldn't have been born and grew up in a better situation.
Oh yeah.
Like if I'm not gonna hang on this movie for the whole episode, but you start a movie playing Mobb Deep. Shook Ones, people are going to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, because Shook One's the first verse was freestyle. A lot of people don't know that. He did.
Oh,
that,
really?
He did that one take and then fixed
On
it
the
or
movie?
whatever. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know if that was Prodigy or the other dude, but
Yeah.
not for the movie, for the song Shook Ones.
Oh, okay.
Shook Ones.
Wasn't that on the movie?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was the
yeah.
intro. It was the first part of the movie.
But did they write it for the movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it was something that they used, but the original, when they originated the song, when they were
Okay.
making the song, that first verse was the first take.
Damn.
So, and what was it? Funkmaster Flex had 3 albums
Funkmaster
called 60
Flex.
Minutes of Funk,
Yeah.
right? And for the whole 60 minutes, it was old school, and rappers would come in and freestyle 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So Mobb Deep was there. Q-Tip did it for the first one, for
Bro,
volume one.
those early
For volume one.
Funk Flex
Yeah,
tapes.
volume
were
one it was
hard.
96. Q-Tip, Method Man, Mace was really new. He was new to the rap game. This is before he had to hide for 5 years from the mob.
Wasn't Jay-Z on one of those?
Jay-Z was on the 97 one.
Okay.
Yes, trying to
Yeah.
indirectly affect me directly. Be careful what you wish for. Shit'll get raw. Yo, he was. Yeah, that's.
Sounds like you know a lot more about the
nasty.
older stuff than I do.
So that was Jay-Z did a freestyle. Nas.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is 97. This is before, like, these people were already popular where I live, but
Yeah. I was like 2 years old.
they started to, well, Jay-Z had sustainability.
Right. It's Jay-Z.
Yeah. But I don't know, just some people just have that it. Like LL Cool J had a sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Rhymes of the month from The Source for 20 years. You know?
Right.
And I want to ask you a question, but I want to say this about LL. LL, anyone who called him out, it was a kiss of death. Everybody who's called him out is out of the rap game. It was only a year. Like
I remember hearing about that. I don't know a whole lot about it, though.
Kumo D called him out. And LL did one rhyme, gone. Ice-T, said something about him. LL, said a rhyme back, gone.
ST dropped.
Cannabis, who's one of the best freestylers, called him out. LL did one rap song about him. 2 years later, Cannabis is looking at a freaking rhyme book in a freestyle battle, which got him booed, by the way. That was on YouTube.
Damn. He looked at a book during a battle?
Yeah, he's like, do you want to hear this or not? And everyone's just like, boo! And I'm just like, damn, that's how he... And it's crazy because the video, the way they did the YouTube video, they made it look like he was going out like that. But I don't know, I just think there was something more to that. I think he was probably freestyling the whole weekend and he had some ideas he wanted to share. And that's where I
Right.
think it was going. But they made it look like...
Well, it was
Yeah.
more publicity, whatever.
But
Yeah.
what made me really intrigued about 8 Mile was that I saw the behind the scenes thing where Eminem was lip singing to save his voice or whatever. But the guys who they auditioned to freestyle against him, they just got real personal and he just turned the mic back on. He's like, hold up, you ain't gonna get away with that. And then boom, off the top of his head. So now everyone who's doing the scene that was like that if you didn't have respect from before, it's just some white dude that could say some rhymes. This dude turned the mic on fresh and just boom, 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 like you said, off the top of his
just
head.
bodied.
So just nasty, and that's why he's top 3 of all time. Who's your top 3?
I feel like it varies
I know.
based on like every year. Like I'm listening to different people. And
Oh, okay.
like Jake was still one of my favorite artists, but like I don't listen to him as much as I used to play him all the time, but I don't listen to him as much anymore. So like every year I feel like I'm listening to different. It's hard to say who the top 3 is. In no order.
There you go.
Like, I mean, Drake has to be in the conversation.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, of course, for
he's too good, Like everything he puts out, like sells around the entire world. He's like one of the most known names in the world. It's like Drake. He plays everywhere.
Okay.
And like plus his music's good. Like he's always got bars. He's always, I know there's a lot of discussion on like whether or not he's ghostwriters or whatever. And I don't know if he does.
Doesn't matter. I didn't say top 3
Doesn't-
freestylers.
right.
I said top 3 hip hop artists.
Yeah. So, and like, even if you go back to his older stuff, normally when you go back to people's older stuff, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, this is a crazy good album. But then there's a couple like, okay, you could tell he was just starting out. But like all of his older stuff is like crazy good. His new stuff is crazy good. And I mean, it might be repetitive sounding, but it's good, you know? So Drake has to be in that discussion.
Yeah.
Kanye is like top 3 for sure.
Oh, genius.
Like his music is crazy. I personally was not a big fan of Donda, the album.
Okay.
And I will go to bat for Kanye in like all of his albums. My personal favorite album is Life of Pablo,
Okay.
which I feel like is a very underrated album. But that album to me is just the most beautiful, like well written. Like some of my favorite top Kanye songs are on that album. And like that album to me like spoke to me the most. And I feel like that's the cool part about music is like people like to be very objective during a subjective approach, because they get asked like, oh, what's your favorite album? And then they're like, oh, well, his best album was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, you know?
I mean,
Because it you know, or 808 Heartbreaks or College Dropout, because that's like the objective thing to say, because everyone's saying that, like, oh, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like, and then it won album of the decade. So they're like, yeah, that's his, you know, objectively best album. I'm like, no, but like, what's your favorite album? You know, like, what talks you the most? And I don't know why Life of Pablo didn't hit like it should have, but like, I listened to that on repeat when it came out, like every single day.
You did a loop.
Yeah, and then I told my boy Hop, who's one of my producers, I was like, because he listened to it once, and it's one of those where you listen to it once and like you might not be there for it, but then you listen to it again, you're like, oh, okay, and you listen to it another time, and then all of a sudden it's like on my top plays. So I'd say, you know, Kanye, Drake, and then I gotta put J. Cole in there too.
Okay.
Because J. Cole is, when you listen to some, like the way he details stuff and the way he describes things are just beyond so many different imaginable approaches. Because some people like hit things direct. They're like, oh, because this is this and this is that. And then he'll get there, but in like a roundabout way to describe something in just like a really unique way. And his detail and like, oh my god, like his flow is just so good too. And it's been changing.
Wow.
It's been changing. So
you said Kanye, Drake,
and J. Cole.
and J. Cole.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's gotta be my top three.
I go Jay-Z, number one all time.
Jay-Z is amazing.
After I do my three, we gotta do some honorable mentions because
Okay.
I don't feel like we're being disrespectful.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because like Jay-Z's like,
besides elite athletes, rappers are some of the most sensitive fucking cats I've ever met in my life. I'm like, relax, go to the gym and work out. I only see a 6-pack instead of 8, dude. What the fuck you doing? So, I go Jay-Z all time, period. I mean, yeah, we could arrange the top three however we want, or the top five.
When he had like 10 solo platinum albums
number one.
or whatever.
Yeah, and it's because he went from Ain't No Nigga, right, to you ever heard that song? Oh my God!
I remember.
Yes,
Yeah.
The first chance they crack the bank, they try, but all they get is 50-cent francs and papayas. Come on.
Yeah,
and then
you grew up in a generation though where like Jay-Z was coming up.
Yes. So I have a bigger appreciation for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love Jay-Z, but
that's why there's no wrong answer.
J. Cole was my coming up artist.
That's what I'm saying. But that's why there's no wrong answer.
Exactly.
You become a prisoner of the moment, and at that time, your assessment or your assertion of who you think is top three is honest. It comes from honestly.
And it's like
what you just said came
too.
from a real place.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, fuck you, Jay-Z's better than him. I'm not doing that.
Right.
We ain't doing that here. So I go Jay-Z. I go Eminem.
Okay.
Because of his sustainability and his ability to be like, this looks like a job for me to you know, you're gonna love me. All right, that song on Eminem on his album. Yeah, gotta get. I mean, and you just woke me up because I was gonna go old school deep on you. I was gonna go KRS-One from Boogie Down Productions.
Oh damn.
Because he the first time he touched the mic, he was 9 years old and he bombed, but he knew he wanted to do that. And then all of a sudden he's doing freestyle. He's doing freestyle, no beat, freestyle with beat. Boogie Down Productions was really, really big in New York. His voice, he had a voice and sometimes used it and sometimes didn't really use it.
Yeah.
But you said Kanye. I can't in good conscience. I'm an old school dude, but I can't put KRS-One in front of Kanye because Kanye can sing American Boy to I Love Gold Diggers. Who does that? I Love Gold Diggers. I have a playlist.
Mm-hmm.
You're such a fucking hoe. To take me on the trip I'd love to go someday.
With the stealth.
What?
Yeah.
To Love Lockdown. You know, not. I can't.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I can't be with you and be with me too. I'm just like, just what?
Plus his production on those is
his
just
weakness.
unmatched.
His weakness is he knows he's a genius. That's what makes him so why some people hate him so much. And for a while, I hated him because everybody else said so. But then, guess what? You know what happens? You start listening to songs. Oh my God, this is my jam. Who sings this? It's Kanye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, cool song. I like this. That's Kanye. And I'm like, I don't fucking dislike Kanye West.
Yeah.
I was told to. I mean, we can apply that to politics. We can apply that to everything. And how is music any different? Where instilled bias comes from a received opinion.
Right. And if Kanye grew up in an era where there weren't, like, you couldn't video people doing stuff or whatever.
Right.
Like people might, because like people are always like, oh, well, Kanye's an asshole. Some of the greatest geniuses of all time were fucking assholes.
Yes.
Bro, Mozart was such an asshole
he was.
None of his music, no one went to his shows or whatever, no one listened to his stuff because he was such an asshole. No one liked him. But then give it a couple hundred years and all of a sudden it's like, you're in the end if you listen to Mozart. Like, like they're like, oh, he's such a genius and he did this and that. Like, but he was an asshole. People hated Mozart.
Yeah. Do you know why they hated him?
Because he was an asshole.
Well, yeah, sometimes, right? Whatever happened to just asshole?
Yeah,
not misunderstood as a child. Whatever happened to just a douchebag?
Yeah, someone just a dick every time you walk in the room. They're like, yo, I could not be in a room with this dude.
Did you hear that, Clementi? So, a little history lesson, and you'll appreciate this because of rap battles and this and that. The first piano competition, their version of a rap battle, or like something where everyone came in to be like, who's the best? It was Clementi against Mozart. This is 1781.
Really? That sounds like crazy.
This is 1781. And everyone thought Clementi won, and Mozart was crushed. Mozart started composing stuff that sounded like Clementi's. And everybody's like, oh my God, Mozart just bit. No, he took something and he took a lot of his songs and tried to make these twitches or whatever and make it better. So it seemed like biting, but he wasn't. I think he just spent the next 20 years showing I could do what he does and do this and that and that and that. And that's difficult. Another history lesson. Pianos have something called double escapement action that allows you to push the same key multiple times without the string or whatever. Mozart did that shit on a piano that did not have double escapement action.
Damn.
So he wasn't able to push. He could push the key, come back or whatever, but you weren't able to push the key twice. So that's a little piano lesson on that. I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my volleyball people, you surprised I know shit, right? Look at this. Is that written there? No, these are questions for him. So, but I wanted to run that by you because you're an artist, and you fell in love and remain in love with freestyle. So I was just trying to get you to say that on some level, freestyle was always there.
Yeah.
That man died. His last album before he died was almost note for note Clementi, the competition he lost. Only one person thought he won that competition. And if he wasn't a dick before, maybe there's a sense of resentment that you think that's human nature, right? I'm a volleyball coach. I moved here, California. And I don't like to say I forgot more than what people know, whatever, but I certainly had more experience with people that were getting opportunities that I wasn't. It's in your nature to be fucking resentful and bitter because you put in the time and then because this person's part of the good old boys club.
Right,
because that's Clementi, right? At that time, he had the money. He wasn't.
He knew everybody.
Yeah, he wasn't some. Look, you're gonna hear a lot of broke people stories that made Hollywood, not the millionaires, but those are stories because they're rare.
Yeah.
All right.
But they push those ones the most to give people that hope to go do that and to stay within the system of the working class and like all that and like you gotta buy all the designer stuff. You gotta, and they keep you with that dream to be like, oh, everyone should push for this, everyone should do it.
Yeah, because I don't know if they're selling a dream. They're using the dream to sell a product. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. They're using it to sell something else. They're like, oh, you can get to here by doing this, and then they just keep you down a little bit.
Nice.
But I mean, at the same time though, if you really believe in yourself and you keep pushing yourself, then you can get there.
Right.
But people think, and like this, the craziest part about, the hardest part about doing something in any way on your own, whether it's doing a podcast or wanting to be a rapper or wanting to be a singer or a professional athlete, the hardest part about that is the mental battle, because the entire time you're battling whether or not, oh, can I make it? And you hear all these stories where it's like, oh, this artist released one song and he blew up and now he's making millions of dollars and that was his first song he ever made. So then you have kids that come in, they make a song, they're like, oh, this is my blow up song. Okay. This is my blow up song. I'm gonna blow up. I've had that thought every song I released since I started doing this like 7 years ago. My first song, I was like, yo, this is it. I'm blowing up, like, but it's not like that. It's, you have to be realistic. You have to be like, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the work. But a lot of artists, I met some amazing artists. They're so good, and they've been doing it for a couple of years, and then they stop doing it because they're like, I haven't blown up yet. Like, there's no point in doing this.
Do you think maybe they have this foreseeable future where they're just stuck in this residual place? That they're literally doing the Running Man? Because there are some people, my boy Bernard, started a group called Undermine X, blew up a little bit, and didn't get a lot of views, didn't really know how to market himself, then maybe hired the wrong people to market him. And that's my only explanation, because I've seen people who are on tour that can't even hold a candle to him. And you and I, you have friends. I mean, maybe we could say the same thing about you. So my question to you is, do you think people mail it in, not because they're not set up for the long game, but because their predictive validity, like 5 years from now, they still see themselves in the same spot?
But yeah, I think so. I think that comes with the fear, and people are like, am I still gonna be here in 5 years not making money doing what I'm doing? So people get into this, like, they get this fear. They like have all these hopes to start, then they have all this fear, and then they join a job where they just get back in line.
Right.
They're part of the system again. They're like, oh, get back in line because it's safe and it's comfortable. That's what you're supposed to do. And it's go to school, get in debt, get out of school, not use that degree, work some job, and then you have kids and then a family, and then that's that. Like, they don't want big idea people. No. So you build all this hope, and then it's all taken down. And then, but that's one of the biggest fears is like, I look at myself, like, I'm 27, I'll be 27 next month. Right. And I'm like, me 5 years from now, I'll be, 32. Do I still want to be in the same place I am now? Like, not really making money off my music, not going on crazy tours around the world. And like, sure, I've had some big highlights, like doing stuff with Dwayne Johnson, which has been like amazing, Seems
like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. But there's that fear that's always there. Like, am I still going to be in the same place? But then every time I look back, every year, my music has grown every single year. And I've gained more fans and more followers, and I've done bigger shows, and my music has got more streams. And every single year, it's getting better. But then I'll get into little slumps where I'm like, damn, I'm not doing anything because I'm not huge yet. I'm not Jack Harlow on every fucking song on the, that's playing everywhere. So you get into those battles. So I think that's a huge setback for people, is that next 5 years fear, or like even next year fear.
Well, the part that really sucks about it is you feel like you can't make mistakes, and and if you slip up, like volleyball, I can easily coach a team in the qualifier and we make the main draw, right? But if we don't make the main draw, for them to watch a game on center court, they have to buy a ticket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And here they are. They're in a crowd with people who are not elite athletes. They're in a crowd with the same people who didn't train and work hard and just missed the cut to get into the draw. And it is a sucky feeling for someone. I mean, as far as people who get stuck in the validation game, if it sucks for that person, for someone to look in the crowd and be like, if he's a professional, why is he sitting here with us? Yeah. On a simpler term, if you're at a bank and there's 30 people online and you're like, there's only 3 people left before you saw the teller, right? And like, someone spilled coffee on you, and you went to get a napkin to clean the shit off, and you try to get back to your spot online. And they're like, no, that's not your spot on line. You got,
Yeah,
and,
you gotta get back.
and you're angry because they're making you get on the back of the line as if you never waited your turn.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's oversimplifying it, of course, but
Right.
but I got some fucking dummies that listen to this shit too. So so for y'all, whatever. And for volleyball, of course, I had to. That was within my wheelhouse, and that was probably a bad analogy, but
No, I feel like that's
yeah,
base root
yeah.
of what we were talking about.
And it's so crazy to navigate around, right? Like you're basically in LA to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's why I moved to LA.
Yeah.
I like to do this.
This is, and for your wheelhouse, you made the right move. Because there are people, like, I'm a volleyball coach and commentator, and there are people that want to move here from Louisiana and Chicago and this and that. And the thing I told them is don't move. Don't move here because you can stay where you are and you can visit LA. You can save more money visiting LA 6 times a year for a week. And then training with these, because they're looking for training opportunities and training with people who are good.
Right.
Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
I get that, but you get if you're in a spot like Kristen. There's 2 girls who are Kristen Nuss and Taryn Clough, and I'll give you the background later.
I don't know a whole lot
but they're in
volleyball.
but they're in Louisiana, right?
Okay.
They got a great coach, Russell Brock. They played for him at LSU. Their college record was 36-0. They never lost a match.
Damn.
So the dual systems, some of their teammates will lose matches. So if they lose 4 matches to 1, everyone know who won the 1. It was those 2. God made one thing perfect. It was a win-loss record. So after that, after college, they won 8 straight regional tournaments. Atlantic City, they won Coconut Beach. I actually called Center Court. And then the first tour stop, which is like the big one, they have to qualify. They make the main draw, and when they make the main draw, they win out and win the whole fucking thing.
Damn.
Now everybody's like, you should move out here, or you should split up. You should train with this person and that person. And I said, don't fucking do it, because what made you is not your ceiling. What made you is not your ceiling. You can stay in Louisiana. If you want to train with some people, fly out here 4 or 5 times a year and train with those people, because you don't want to leave that coach who
took you to all those.
No, but there's some coaches that take you as far as you could go, and you need a new coach to take you to the next level. That's not this guy. This guy's a fuck. His name is Russell Brock, and I'm shouting him out right now. And so for my sport, there are some people moving here is the right thing to do. But there's some people I'm like, don't fucking waste all that rent money. Don't be paying coaches that aren't doing what your coach is doing, just so you can play, maybe or maybe not play with players that are better than you, that whatever. So the best teams in the world don't even have training groups. Qatar, who won the bronze medal, Sharif, I had him on the podcast. He doesn't do training groups. No, he says I get more. Like for freestyle rap or whatever, you get more with a small group of people. And you have to take over, because I'm speaking way out of my wheelhouse now. But I guess my question to you is, do you is less more when it comes to perfecting your game, or is it more with your wheelhouse? Is it a networking thing?
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of both. So I have my small group of people, my network that I've been building the last like 7 years. I've been in and out of different groups. I've had multiple people that I was going to work with, and they're like, yeah, we can do this for you, we can do this for you. And then it like fell through. So the hard part is finding a group of people who genuinely want to just do music. Yeah. And there's no greed, there's no nothing. And like, these people are my friends. Okay. So it's not like my business partners, like they're my friends. Like they're my family. So, and it took a while to get there. And there's like my producers I work, one of my producers, Hop, who lives with me in El Segundo, we grew up together in Wenatchee. So we grew up in the small town that we grew up in, and then he was over in Seattle, and I started like rapping. He said, oh, I'm gonna start learning how to make beats. So he starts learning how to make beats, and then next thing you know, he came out to LA. So then we're living together doing that. And then my other roommate, Young Lit Hippie, he's a rapper as well, and his stuff is crazy. It's so cool. It's so unique too, and so everyone around me, they're like my best friends and they're my family. Like my other producer, Caro, like he's the one who made the That's My Shit beat. Oh, okay. The one that blew up. Yeah. Yeah. So, and he's done a lot of other beats for me too. And we've just all kind of worked together. And there's a lot of other people like my agent and Stuart and like Yeah, right.
Hold on, let me see if I can plug this in.
Yeah, throw it on.
Yeah, this is fun as hell.
Never gonna break, no swear I try. All English we're hopeless, handed, holding my Bible up in the sky and taking my rivals. How rock go take the phone, write it from the title. I'ma say no more, but I only wanna give it to the bitches to be riding in the 5-0. Hit him at West and hit the whip like I'm 5-0. Miss my date to college, the Alpha C decides to look like a door. Probably gonna be feeling like Dora. Damn, ain't no one's pouring, cause I gotta get the bitches well trained. She don't probably like the whole thing. I'ma get it like some gold things from broke things. I moved up this shit. Gotta see no more, gotta be no more, but they never gonna get it like this, cause that's my shit.
Yo, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Yo, that was cool, man. Oh, I'm glad I could tech my own show and know how to do this shit.
All right. Yeah, it looks like you got a lot of
There you go.
buttons.
I got a lot going on, so thank you. Because sometimes I'm trying to look at you and this and that, and
then
trying
you're like
to
hitting all
yeah,
these
I'm trying to
buttons.
work all this, but yeah. So I like that you have a group of people that are invested. It is a bonus to have friends. Because
Yeah.
there's an emotional investment. When you're friends, you want each other to do well.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the hard part, especially with artists, like artists are so sensitive. And the hardest part is when you're doing well and then they have this like resentment towards you, you know, and they're like jealous of whatever's going on. I've never felt that with my friends who are successful. I genuinely get excited. I'm like, oh, it's so awesome. Like that. Like, and I don't want anything from them.
Yeah.
Like if my friends, I have some I have some friends that are really famous, really big people. I've never asked for nothing from them. Like I don't need anything other than their friendship because they're my friends.
That's a virtue, though.
And that's how a friendship should be. If people want to go out of their way to do something for you, cool. Like that's amazing. Like, you know, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take my friendships and turn it into like a stepping stone that a lot of people in LA do. And if you have some kind of clout or some kind of anything, in like a lot of people in LA, and I'm mostly talking about like the downtown, West Hollywood, North Hollywood, like the people that move here to be influencers, whatever. They meet people and they're not about you. And then they find out you got a little clout, and they're like, "Oh!" And then they're you're the best.
And
friend.
how do you
like,
play
"Yo,
that?
shout
And
me
how do you
out."
play the game, right? How do you play that?
Yeah.
Once you see what they are, do you have to play that too? You know.
Yeah.
To not be that guy.
Yeah, and it's so fun. Okay, so you know Logic. So I met Logic, and I met him, and it was so funny. I was at this like Soho house in Malibu, and it was like this 30 and under member club or whatever, and it was like a 30 and under night. So if you're 30 and under, you should show up. You meet all the other people that are club members, and I remember I was there. Like one of my friends was where I'm weirdly. It's so weird. You can ask all my friends, but I always end up at places I should not be at. Like, you know, I'm not a fucking member there.
No.
And so I ended up there, and I was.
Hold on, wait, before you go on. What time in the morning?
Was this?
Yeah.
No, this was only like, I think it was only like 10 p.m.
Okay, good.
It wasn't.
All right,
Yeah.
Continue.
Because it was like an event, you know, so it's pretty early.
I was just gonna say nothing good happens after 1 in the morning.
That's
Go ahead.
fair. That's fair. But so I was there, and I hear someone talking. I was like, I know that voice, and then I turn around, and I'm like, that's fucking Logic. Like that's like his voice, you know, like that's him. And he was talking to these kids like 20s, you know, something.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to the conversation because they were giving him this like we're too good for you kind of vibe, because they obviously did not know that it was Logic. They thought it was, and his name tag said Bobby on it, you know, because that's his name. And so,
But you knew.
I was like, I knew. I was like, I know that's fucking Logic. So he's talking to them, and they're talking about, they're like, yeah, we have this clothing company, blah 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 blah, and they're kind of brushing him off, looking around. And he's like, yo, like, how do I, like, check it out? Like, I want to look into buying some of your stuff and, like, rocking some of your stuff. And they're like,
and
yeah, you can look me up on this and da. And they're, like, brushing him off because they don't know who he is.
And you're looking at this whole thing.
Yeah.
When you're looking at this whole thing, what are you thinking?
I was laughing my ass off, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so, like, it's so LA. It's like that, like, pompous, rich, decadence kind of persona that these people have. But the minute, I swear, if they found out that was Logic, they would have they would have
They'd
been.
have been swinging on
They were
those
like, oh, please
nuts.
rock our set here. I'll give you a shipment of our clothes, like whatever you want. And he was genuine. He sounded genuinely interested.
Yeah.
And these people were just brushing him off
And it's like, all right.
because they didn't know who he was.
Yeah, but then they find out who he is. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, there's this Tarzan swing on the nuts. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
come
So
on,
I went
man.
over to him like after that.
Oh,
Yeah. And yeah, he thought he was being slick. Because I went over to him. I was like, yo, man, I saw you in Seattle like a year ago. Because like that was when I was living in Seattle, and he did a show. What year was it? It was probably like 2017, 2018. He did a show, like a big arena show in Seattle, and I went to it, and it was amazing. And so I went to him, I was like, yo, I saw you in Seattle like last year.
wow,
And
dude.
then he was like, what do you mean? Like trying to play it off like I didn't know it was Logic. I was like, you know what I mean? He's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
And then we
come
ended
on.
up talking, and it was cool because like we ended up like talking the whole night, like me, him, and Younger Hippie, and he showed us like exclusive music that like
Mm-hmm.
wasn't out yet, which is like so dope. And then we're like freestyling drunk and shit, and it was a really cool experience. But it's just so funny to see that in real life, someone who's his caliber of celebrity getting brushed off because someone didn't know who he was.
Yeah, you get that a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that conversation with you is that it generated from who you surrounded yourself with before you met Logic.
Yeah.
How you're approaching this, who you're approaching this with, leading all the way up to that under 30s night that where you're just there to say hi and make people or whatever and this and
Yeah.
that. Real recognizes real. I mean, that's the only
think
way I know how
so.
to put that because I don't want to sound like I'm go off on this tangent and say absolutely nothing. Real recognizes real when someone's like, okay, this dude seems down to earth. He seems virtuous. I'm talking to him. Oh shit! In addition to all those things, he's talented too, and that's the game you got to play with real people and fake people. Unfortunately, this is whatever. I'm gonna tell you two things that this has in common with volleyball, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, I'll just say it like it is. Life isn't fair, right? Some things that are happening where people are further ahead of the game than you and you're more talented than them. It's unfair,
how it
but
goes.
such is life. All
Yeah.
right. Here's the second thing. If you take that historical fact, not kicking and screaming, you will be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
There is a Brooklyn virtue in me that I get to a point where I'm volunteering information. No one even has to force my hand. But then I put myself in danger. Do you want to be that guy? No one wants to work with that guy that fucking complains about everything.
Yeah.
Even if he's right.
Right.
Even if he's right. And you always think you're right. I always think I'm fucking right, right? So it's one of those things where you want to say something and it's true. But my rule and my suggestion, old dog to a young dog, only do it if you have to. Only do it if you have to. Don't do anything voluntarily that's going to dilute your product because you don't want people to think that you're that guy when you're not that guy. You're this guy. So that's just from a business perspective. How it pertains to my sport. I can only speak to my sport because
everything kinda
even
ties
now
in
there's a lot of
together,
people
you know?
that don't want me to succeed. You know, I'm still an outsider. I guess when you get old enough, you don't care.
Yeah.
You know, someday you're going to be in a position where your brand and your body, hold that thought because you're going to say something and I don't want you to forget it.
That's fair.
Fucking write it down if you have to.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at it.
You're going to be in a position, and I shouldn't be talking more than you. This is a podcast about you.
No,
but
it's fair.
you're going to someday be in a position where your brand and your bottom line are separate. Your brand, who you are, this rap thing, getting out there networking, doing your thing, chilling. Your bottom line, your rent money, your car, the carpet beneath your feet, the way you put your head. Right now, your brand and your bottom line are binary because whatever hurts your brand is going to hurt how you make your money.
Right.
But someday, and this might be sooner, might be later, you're going to be in a position where your brand and your bottom line are separate. That allows you to do things, to have more artist liberation, where where absence of extreme opinion, which seems like it's just this heavy ass backpack. This looks small, right? Yeah, hold this thing. Good luck. All right. So I'm just saying that. I guess what I'm trying to say, and please remember your thought. But I'm just, even if it's unrelated, I'm just trying to say that you're ahead of the direction that you will have that. And you already feel liberated as it is, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
real liberation. Like, what would this guy think? And you're like, okay, either he cares or he doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect how I make my money. And I'm right now, I'm blessed, and it took 51 years to get there. But that's why the noise doesn't, or who might think they're better than me, or who does he think he is, and this and that, doesn't affect me as much. Because 10 years ago, I'm like, fuck you, I'm this, I did that, and guess what? You become what you despise.
Yeah.
Trying to play the validation game.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? Unrelated, related. You kept it, right?
I did.
right.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm in a different headspace than a lot of people my age. I stopped caring like a few years ago about certain things.
Would it happen to be 3 years ago?
It was definitely before. it was before all that, you know. It was before all that.
Not
I feel like a lot of people stopped caring in general like 3 years ago, but no, it was kind of before everything. I slowly stopped like caring about certain people's opinions or how I should be acting to stuff, and then it was more introspective of really the last few years has been me whenever I react to something or I feel a certain way about something, it's okay, what is that stemming from? Why do I feel that way? And then how can I remove myself from that? And then that ties into my artistry of Dyve. Like, because I don't want there to be a separation between the artist and the person.
Right.
And I know that'd be good for my brand to be this artist and do some wilding things or like whatever.
That's the challenge.
Whatever it is. At the same time, my music, like I try to be lyrical with my music on like some of my stuff, and I like telling that like some like deep stories of and just being genuine, and that's how I want my brand to reflect. And if I don't become Drake level, or like I don't want to be Drake level, that just sounds annoying being that famous.
Nah, come on, more money, more problems.
Yeah, I'd rather
PG.
have a group of people, like a small group, that love my music so much and are just genuine fans and like genuinely love my music than have, you know, tens of millions of people who I don't know or care about, or that just like me because everyone else likes me or hates me because of whatever. But if I just have a genuine group of fans that like honestly love my music and I help change, or like I offer advice or like whatever it does for them. What's cool about my song, That's My Shit, is, you know, it's a hype, fun song. But my favorite part of that song is that so many people have reached out to me and be like, yo, this song pumps me up in the gym. It keeps me motivated to work out. And that's one of my favorite things about making hype songs. And people are like, oh, it's just a hype song, like da-da-da. Like, like, you know, it doesn't hold much. But I'm like, no, but like people like this song, like people are motivated to work out and be healthy because of my song.
Right.
That's so cool to me.
That is.
And to the other note that we were talking about, the other part I don't care about. Like I've never cared about designer stuff. Like this is a $10 hoodie from Santee Alley, which is lit though. If you got never been to Santee Alley,
you son of a bitch. You know El Hollywood's so pissed at you right now.
I know. Like, oh, is that Yeezy hoodie? Like,
you son of a bitch. You know what you just said to them?
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I'm playing.
Man, the most expensive thing I probably wear are my jeans and like some Levi's because they're gonna last me 5 years. You know, and they're like $65, $70. Which still is like, you know, it's a little bit of investment, but they last like 5 years because they're Levi's, you know.
But isn't it crazy that we spent more money on that stuff outside of before we moved here? Like New York, outside my studio right here, I got about 8 suits from Oxford Clothes. Dunbar, Oxford. These suits started like $2,300 before they started tailoring shit.
Right.
I've only worn a suit. I've been here 5 years. I've only worn a suit 3 times.
Yeah. Once you're in the mix,
I'm like,
you stop caring.
I thought if I moved to LA, man, I get to sport some of this stuff and this and that. So yeah, but you're right, and I like that you associate yourself with a crowd that doesn't care either, right? Like, are those Oakleys or Folkleys? I'm like,
That's
I'm
why
like,
I love
does
this
it
brand.
protect me from the sun?
Yeah,
Yes.
the Privé Revaux.
Let me put
brand.
them on.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, dude.
But yeah, right. But I love these because this is I believe this is Jamie Foxx's. It's either his company or his brand, or he promotes it, or I'm not exactly sure, but he's got a big part of it, and he's always promoting it. So it's something to do with Jamie Foxx. I actually met Jamie Foxx once. He's a really genuine dude, really nice guy. And
is he everything we think he is? Like as far as that cool person?
very genuine dude.
Yeah.
I was at this I was at Drake's club, Delilah, and he's like celebrity club. And I got invited to sit at the table, so I was sitting at the table, and this dude kept bumping into me, and I was like, "Who the hell is bumping into me?" So I turned around, and it's Jamie Foxx. He's like, "Oh, my bad." And I was like, "No, that's cool, man. Like, it's cool." And we ended up talking for like, he probably doesn't remember, but like you meet so many people, but we talked for like hour, and he's like, "Yeah, go ahead and get a drink," like it's like because it was his birthday, I think.
Okay.
And so he's like, "Yeah, get a drink," and then he's like, "Get whatever you want," and then everyone's drinking all this like I can't even pronounce this shit like. Whatever they were drinking, the champagne or whatever, and I was like, "Yo, can I get like a Coors Light?" And the lady looked at me like,
She said, "You know where the fuck you at?"
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Man," I'll just say. And he's like, "Yo, you don't like want some?" I'm like, "Man, I'm not trying to flex. I just want a beer." And he's like, "All right, I can respect that. Like, he's a nice dude."
Yeah.
But the thing,
But I hate when the bartender looks at you like that. I'm like, dude, don't act like you go into your penthouse after that. You know what the fuck kind of drink I'm talking about.
Man,
I'm
just
one
like,
of you, dude.
Yeah, I
Come
just
on.
like beer. I don't care. Plus, like champagne, they're like, "Oh, it's like a $50,000 bottle of champagne." I'm like, "Bro, that's grape juice. Come on."
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Thank
grape
you.
juice. And it all tastes the same, man. It's all just bubbly bullshit, like whatever. If anything, it's just the build around it. Like, oh, this is like 50 years old, like whatever. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I get why it's priced like that because it's a rarity and because it's old. Cool. I wouldn't pay for it. That's all I'm saying. If I had a collector's
No.
item, that might be cool to have,
No, but the person that's trying to honey dick you into drinking that,
Right.
he know better. He probably that dude lived 2 blocks away from where you live, so he need to
Right.
stop fucking fronting. He's
And they
there
always got way
because
too
if
much
he lived in a
cologne on.
penthouse, he wouldn't be serving no damn drink. So he knows what a fucking Coors is. Stop, man.
Yeah.
Ask him where his Super Bowl Sunday is if he's not working. So
Yeah.
he full of shit too.
Yeah.
So damn, that was cold. My
Yeah.
bad. I'm a hater J.
Bodies.
I'm all a hater J right now.
Yeah, but anyway, so this
Yeah.
the company that I don't know if he started it, like I said, I don't know if it's his company, but it's like designer quality at like, but not at designer price,
Right.
and that's like kind of their motto. And so like I got these are only like $70, but these are like designer sunglasses, like these are designer, and I like the shape of them, like I like the feel of them, and I like that they're not like $500, $1,000 because he put his name on it or because there's a name to it.
Yes.
So like I like this brand. It's a really good brand. And like so I like supporting stuff like that. Like if it's quality
Yeah.
and it's and they don't boost it because of a name.
Like
I'll support
Run
that.
DMC said, because Calvin Klein's no friend of mine. Don't want nobody's name on my behind. That's an '84
That's a bar.
flashback.
That's a bar.
That's Rockbox.
Okay.
Yeah, damn. So, shit. What? I actually have questions and shit. So, at some point before this was your career, this was your escapism. This is something you like to do. This is something you were like, I enjoy doing this. This is my passion. This and that. And I'm chilling. I'm doing it with my friends. And all of a sudden, you kind of get good. So my question's 2-part. One is about different escapisms. We're gonna visit that in a minute. My first question, get right to the point because I really enjoy listening to you talk. What point did you say to yourself, you're like, self, this is gonna be my profession. I think I'm good, and I think this shit has legs, and this is what I want to do when I grow up. How old were you? Was there a particular night with your friends? Was there a like a concert or maybe I'm gonna sound stupid, a battle that you were like, nah, this is me, and this is what I'm, boom.
Yeah.
Because I asked all of my volleyball guests the same question. So
Right. So the first part about escapism, I think a lot of people confine escapism into like one thing that they like need to do in order to relieve the life.
right,
I love doing everything. Like
There you
I
go.
have to try everything new, like whatever it is. And so to me, even like hanging out with friends or like trying something new or like whatever, it can be my escapism.
okay. Because when your escapism became your career,
Yeah.
some people they keep that. My escapism is my career. But then there's some people, they're like, I do this twice a week, so I could come back and do my job like a fucking mammal. That's
Yeah.
what I meant by
Sometimes it's like that. It's kind of both. because there's days where I love sitting down and writing, and then there's days where I feel like I have to sit down and write.
Right.
But that can change, because when I feel like I have to sit down and do something, sometimes that turns into an escapism, because you're just not in the flow that day, but then you sit down, you start working on it, and then all of a sudden you're in the flow for it, and then you get excited because you just wrote a crazy bar or like whatever it is. And so it's kind of both. And you have to, it is that fine line that, you know, you have to like, do I make myself work on music every single day? Or do I find another way to help my music without having to write music every day? Like I haven't written in like a month and a half.
Okay.
I mean, I'll write bars down as I go. I'll freestyle in the car, and I'm like, oh, that's a bar, and I like write it down. But I haven't sat down and wrote in like a month and a half. But I've been going to like photo shoots. I've been building my biography. I've been editing and updating so many different things. And it's a lot of stuff that is going towards my career, that not necessarily writing music.
Right. Okay.
So there's things you can do to help your career that's not just every single day writing music. Like you don't have to write music to help your career, because there's so many things that are involved in it. So by the time I do sit down and write music, it is my escapism. So it's kind of both.
So it's binary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because I gave a young volleyball player the speech that I think even now she respects me and she listens, but I still don't think she gets it. Like there's some people where if you don't have that something else, and if your escapism is your career and shit goes wrong, it can eat you alive. It can burn. You can burn yourself up in the Phoenix. You can burn yourself up in the storm, you know. And at the end of the day, to quote Detective Freeman from McNulty from The Wire, the job can't save your ass. The job can't. I mean, family, friends, family with different last names, which you got going on, that keeps you going. That at the end will still be there when you decide you don't want to do this, or if you do this to the day you die. Yeah. Which seems like a remote possibility. So I was trying to tell her, you know, you win this tournament, you do this, you pepper with your boyfriend, you watch videos, you do this. But if you put yourself in a position where your strength and your weakness are the same thing, you could run into a problem, and you have to be strong enough to survive that, or it will eat you the fuck alive. Yeah. Last job interview. Last time I even interviewed for a job. I don't fucking do that anymore. So what's your greatest strength as a coach, Jason? And I'm like, I personalize my work. It doesn't leave when I leave the gym. I have a studio set up for video room breakdown. In fact, coaches pay me to break down their games. And they're like, so what's your biggest weakness? I'm like, I personalize my work. It hurts too fucking much when you work hard and you want it for the people you're coaching, you're trying to help, and it doesn't happen. Yeah, it becomes highly personal. How could it not be? When you put everything into it. Yes. Yeah. When your escapism becomes your career and you don't have it, how could you not be? How could it not be personal? How could it not hurt? How could there not be a level of frustration and this and that? And the answer to that is you're doing the right thing, because I'm not trying to talk you out of this shit. You ingratiated yourself with a group of people, hopefully small, because in your line of work, less is more, when it comes to that. Right. Where you can do it for the rest of your life, and they're there to heal you. They're there to catch you when you're down, because you don't. Because with that group of friends you have, you don't have to ask that. That's not required. Yeah. They know that's not required of them. They want to do that. They want to see you do well. You want to see them do well. Yeah, absolutely. So this might not be the speech for you. No, I'm not. Because frankly, I'm tired of looking up here, young man. This, I'm not trying to do that, But I wanted to bring that to your attention, but I also wanted to let you know it might not apply to you because of how you set up your shop. It's moving forward. Yeah, but I feel like any bit of advice, even if you're doing that, it's just nice to hear it again. Yeah. Like even if you're doing something to the fullest, it's nice to hear somebody else say it from a different perspective, same message, but in a different way. And then it's almost like reassuring. It's like, yeah, I got to continue doing what I'm doing, like in the way I'm doing it. And me, I'm paranoid. All the time. Something I realized my third year here, because my first 2 years were hell. I just, I got some clubs and this and that, and every opportunity I got, I was the best at it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the kind of guy, if you pay me to sweep a street, There's not two blades of grass or dirt, and you're not gonna find a rock on that street. If I'm gonna do it, and if someone's paying me to do it, I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah.
So the whole club scene, I did well. I overachieved with some 16s indoor beach volleyball. You know, I led the nation. Our club led the nation in recruitments per capita. So I was doing top 5 shit. You know, since I moved here, and still being looked at as the same as everybody else. So there's us and there's everybody else. And that was something that I had a problem with because I thought they were wrong and I thought I was one of them. And in many ways I am, and thank God in many ways I'm not. But the difference between you and me, and the reason why you're ahead of the game, is because I glossed over the fact that people do have my back. From places that I at least suspect. I have friends in Wisconsin. I got friends in Florida. Definitely got roots in New York. I got more roots than Alex Haley in New York. So I'm glad you're ahead of the game on that. And it's going to keep you young. You're young looking. You're 20 years from now, you're still going to probably look like that because your generation has learned how to become immune to old age. Right? There's a general nutrition. There is a way you take care of yourself.
Right.
I'm gonna work out in the sunlight, but not too much. You guys, you got look. We're fucking morons. My generation, we're fucking morons, dude. You know, I mean, for volleyball, indoor volleyball, we train like assholes, man. But you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. So, as far as escapism becoming your career, we already covered that.
Yeah.
What was? I'm gonna come back and re-ask that first question. Was there a defining moment, or was it just a gradual buildup that made you think that this is what you want to do for a living?
So, like growing up, I always. I feel like you hear a lot of people say this, but I had this like feeling that like I'm meant to be someone big, like whatever it is. I didn't know what it was, and I was always really good at like everything I tried. Mm-hmm. And that might sound cocky, but like I just was like I'll first time I went wakeboarding, I stood up. Like first time I went snowboarding, I went down double black diamond. Like this. Every time I do something, I'm like good at it. I'm not the best. Like there's people way better than me at everything. But I've always just been like good enough to be able to do it from the jump. And singing was like I couldn't do it. I was bad. I was really bad. But I loved it. And maybe it's because of the one thing I couldn't do, but I loved music so much. And like my mom used to make this like cringe face whenever I'd sing and whatever, because we'd watch American Idol. She'd be like, I don't know what's it. But because we watched American Idol growing up, and I used to kind of loathe watching it because these people were so good, and I'm like, I want to be on that show, and I couldn't because I couldn't sing. But I grew up doing musicals, like I do all the the school musicals because I love performing. So since I was like 6, I was like dancing, singing, whatever. And then when I got into high school, I was like, what? I want to learn how to sing. So I joined choir like my sophomore year of high school. And then I started learning how to like harmonize, and then my ears started getting better, and I could learn how to hit notes and do all that. So by the time I got into college, I could actually like kind of hit notes and I could sing a bit. And then I got my tonsils taken out, and then I could sing even better because my tonsils were like naturally like 2.5 times bigger than they were supposed to be.
Right, and they messing with your glottal.
Well, like I couldn't sing through my diaphragm, so I ended up would like sing through my throat because my tonsils were so big. So, so it helped a lot, but and that's kind of like my story between like wanting to perform and sing, but then with rapping, like I loved rapping. I love like freestyling. I love when people being like a rap battle somewhere, and I'd show up and just start spitting, and people like, oh shit, like it was fun to me. Like I loved rapping, but I never thought it was gonna be a career. It was like a summer break or winter break, spring break, something. I was back home. It was like my first year of college. And I was at my buddy's party, and downstairs there was like at one point in the party, like there's a bunch of guys like in a circle like freestyling, and they're all like going off, and they were like, yo, come hop on this. And I was like no, like I'm good, like it's whatever, it's cool. I'm chilling tonight, like no, like freestyles, all right. So I went on, I freestyled, and at the time, they said, they're like, oh, you're so good, blah, blah. But me now looking at it, it was probably so trash. It was probably like, so bad.
Why y'all fucking
lying, it was probably so bad. But they said I killed it. And then my buddy was like, yo, my cousin makes beats. He's got like a little studio set up. You guys should make a rap song. I was like, because they're like, have you ever thought about being a rapper? I was like, fuck that. No, I'm not trying to be a rapper.
Oh, my God, no.
Yeah, like the hell? No. So But then I was on break, and they're like, "Yeah, go do a song." And I was like, "All right, might as well," because I had nothing else to do. It was break. So I went over. We like recorded it, and then one of my buddies from like elementary school that I knew.
Yeah.
I had like this little studio set up, and then he's like, "Yeah, come out," like, and they had like a big studio, and they're like, "Yeah, come record it." So we like recorded a single, like with my buddy's beat, my buddy's studio, like got everything done, and we like released it. And I thought it was the craziest thing in the world to be on Pandora. Like, I was like, yo, I'm on fucking I got my own station on Pandora Radio. I thought that was the craziest shit in the world.
Fucking awesome.
And then so I'm like back at college, and I'm like singing and performing, and then like somebody mentioned that I'm a singer. So like, are you familiar with like showcase shows? So they bring a bunch of local artists out. They only do like 3 songs, and it's like a pay to play kind of thing.
Okay,
But they see how many like people you can bring out, so they can use. If someone brings out like 100 people, they're gonna use that guy as an opener for bigger shows.
Right.
So it's like a showcase, like see what you got. So I went did a showcase show, and I was in college, and one of my traits is like I'm good at knowing like everybody. I know a lot of people. So I think my first show ever, I brought like 40 people out, and they're like, which is like numbers if you've never done a show. So they're like, damn, like this guy bringing numbers, and I was singing like covers and stuff because I didn't really have a whole lot of things, and I was probably singing like doing some whack originals,
Yeah, come on.
But then I perform, and then they start asking me to do bigger shows. So they're like, oh, like we got, what's his name? Fucking Slim Jesus. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Guy was so bad.
He looked like a Russ with that didn't get fed. You know Russ?
Yeah. No, yeah. But it was like,
yeah,
this dude looked like, he was like only like 5'5", and like this skinny white dude from like Ohio. And he had this song called like Drill Time or something. And man, it was not. Anyway, so like what was crazy is like he got big off of that song, and people would pay to go to his shows just to like boo him off stage.
Oh shit! So he was a Sanjaya. Remember American Idol? Sanjay,
oh
the
yeah,
Indian dude that was so bad. The fucking voters kept
keeping him
because the judges' hands were tied.
Yeah.
And Simon's like, I don't know how long you want to keep this going on. He's now in the top 5, and there's something really wrong with this system.
So that's basically what it was, and people come to his shows just to like throw shit at him and boof off the stage.
With them island boys.
Yeah. So my set for that, I had like 50, 60 people, and it was lit. And then he goes up, and there was like one person there, and like people were like booing him and stuff. And I'm like, damn, but he's still getting paid for it. That was the crazy part to me. He was getting paid $2,000 a show and did a 50 show tour. Dude just got $100,000 to get booed. I'm like, fuck, bro. Like I'll do that shit. I mean, I don't want to do that, but like, so it's crazy. And then, and I'm doing shows, and then I did a show with like Yin Yang Twins, and then I got, which was fucking, those guys are next level.
Yeah,
like
disgusting.
Like they get so, I've never seen someone get so fucked up and be able to do a show. Like these dudes were like in their limo or car or whatever, and they waxed the bottle, and they're smoking the whole time. And then they came backstage, and they had another bottle that they waxed, and they're still smoking. Then they go on stage, and they're like holding another bottle on stage. I'm like, and they do that every night, and I'm like, damn,
yeah,
that was crazy.
That's a money grab because there's no real sustainability in that. But
they got hits.
But that's the point I was trying to make. If they did it any other way, would they have the hits? That's the way they knew how to function.
That was their.
And I'm like, get that money while it lasts, because you're not gonna
Everyone's
live.
Got
you're not gonna live. Period.
Everyone's got their system.
Yeah.
So like whatever it is, like go ahead. Like my routine before shows, I drink hot toddies.
Hot toddies?
Yeah, because it's whiskey. It's hot water, and it's honey and lemon, which is good for your throat. It's very soothing for your throat.
Yep.
So I drink that before I perform, because it's like you get a little bit of a buzz, and then you get that like soothing honey, and then you get the hot water, and it's like really good to like warm up your vocal cords and just kind of keep them all soothed and everything. So that's my routine.
There it is.
And I like hitting a good gym day before, and then like eating really good. And then next couple hours, just don't eat until after the show. Like I have my own routine that I like doing. And
no, because if you have that, it gets rid of some of the nervous energy. Like if
Yeah.
you do right, if you had to think about brushing your teeth,
Right.
do you know how you know how tedious that is? You have to think about brushing your teeth, but if you practice brushing where you're supposed to,
Right.
yeah.
That's the thing. I don't really. So I get nervous, but I don't get nervous.
Okay.
Like
Me neither.
the only time I get nervous is like 30 seconds before I go on stage,
All right.
and then after the first song, that's like
It's
I'm
over
not
with.
nervous. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's over. Like people are like, it'll be like an hour before a show. I'm like backstage or whatever. There's like a big crowd. People are like, you nervous? I'm like,
Nah.
Like I'm cool. It's only like right when they're like my name's announced or whatever. Then I'm like, all right, all comes in at once. Let's go, showtime. But it's like this weird mixture of like nervousness and excitement that's like kind of together. I wouldn't say it's full nerves,
Right.
and I wouldn't say it's like full excitement. It's like meets in the middle.
So for me, well, I'll do singing first. Different levels, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Singing before the song starts, I would look at probably a maximum of 5 people. Make eye contact. You know, boom, boom. This one's frowning. This one's curious. This one's not comfortable. I'm on stage looking at no one but them. So okay,
Yeah.
I got that. And once I do that, I feel like when I sing the song, I got something to say. And if I got something to say, there's no more nervous energy because it becomes about what I have to say.
Yeah.
And that's
a good way
and
to
you've
think
seen
about
me
it.
sing. I am.
Yeah.
We are different. I'm just gonna say straight up, I'm better than 90% of the singers or whatever. But that 10% is a whole 2 levels better. That's you.
Thank you.
So theater performance
Mm-hmm.
when I'm performing, which is my wheelhouse, was my wheelhouse. That's my degree actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow,
I was
I
in the
didn't know
BFA program at Marymount, Manhattan.
Damn.
I ranked number 2 in the country. I auditioned.
Is it really?
Yeah, I auditioned,
Damn,
got
that's
in. What the
crazy.
fuck, man? Finished school there. But I would look at 3-4 people in the audience on the stage, and then I would look at my scene partner. And once I looked at my scene partner, I'm locked in. I make it about them, and whatever energy they give me, even if it's a little bit, there's this exchange that makes it look real and organic. So I use a lot of stuff that I learned on stage, with no musicals, like just straight acting.
Yeah.
That translated well to just performing a song in front of people, and I've done that a couple of times. It wasn't just karaoke, but karaoke is my escapism. We can't go to this be podcast malpractice not to talk about that.
Man, I love karaoke.
Oh my fucking god!
My favorite part about karaoke is it goes back to me wanting to be a singer.
Uh-huh.
And because like when I was doing rap, I'm only rapping. Like every now and then I have a couple songs where I sing a little bit, because the people I sing with are like phenomenal singers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'd rather them sing the hook, like, cause I'm a good singer, but I'm not a professional singer. You know, I'm not there. Like my rapping is there. I'll go to bat for my rapping. My rapping is there.
Right. Nah,
My
that's it.
lyrics, my bars, my flows, like I'm there, but my
Yeah.
singing is not. So I love going to karaoke because it helps me be a better singer, and it helps me perform. Because whenever I perform, I'm only rapping. I'm not singing.
There it is.
And so when I do karaoke, I'm like actually getting to practice singing. And what's funny is there was a guy that used to go to the karaoke spot that we go to like before COVID, who's actually a professional singer in a band. And I forgot what band it is. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The guy who'd always sing the rock, like
Yes.
Chris Stapleton
Yeah.
runs and like all that. I forgot his name, but he's in a big band. Like he's a famous singer in a famous band, and he would come to karaoke to practice singing.
Dude, he's a hitman for hire. But
yeah. And then he'd go in his corner, sip his drink, just kind of do his own. He'd go
Yeah.
by himself, but he'd go into practice. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, "Bro, I love your vocals. I love this." He's like, "Oh, I actually like sing professionally." He's like, "I come in here to practice." I'm like, "Damn, I never thought about that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, like." I'm like, dude, can I like check out your band? He told me the band name. I was like, oh, fucking duh. Like I know who that is. I can't.
Yes.
I'll like right now. I don't know. I'm spacing, but
There's no better venue to try out songs
yeah,
than karaoke particularly at a spot where the same group of people go every week.
yeah,
Right? Because it's someone it's almost like doing a comedy routine, right? Like Chris Rock doesn't do that 1 hour, 10-minute bit raw. He labs that. Maybe the Comedy Store section, which is why they don't allow videotaping.
Mm-hmm.
So such as with karaoke. Before we even go any further, for the people listening or watching, for the people listening, don't get to see my face, tough shit, but for the people watching, this dude right here. Now everyone knows I can sing, and I sing so well that people try to sing because they look at me and they're like, how hard could it be? That's my weakness. Everyone thinks they can do what I do because I look like a regular guy. So there are two types of good singers. There's a singer where someone hears me sing and they're like, oh, woo, fucking cool, nice. Hey, good song. Yeah, I love that song, dude. That was real. And then there's the type of singer, which is you. When you're done singing, they just go, what the fuck was that? Wow. Whoa. Yeah, Jason, you got to sing after that guy. And I'm like, I'm just glad I know him because he's going to be all supportive and shit. And that's what you've become, who you didn't think you could be and what you become. That was the first, before I even heard you do a bar, all right? Right? Where yeah, I never went to a freestyle battle, quick on the mic, right? Don't even know how to turn this on, click on the mic. Mind your fucking business, I'm a dick on the mic, you know? Oh my God, I got a fever sick on the mic, you know? So before I even heard you do a bar, I've heard you sing.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. The guy that thinks he can't sing just goes to this place and destroys it subconsciously, you know. But the cool thing about you is you're so friendly, it doesn't make anyone else shy from going up there and singing next. And that's what you bring to the table. And it's a stupid, unrelated story. It had nothing to do with what the fuck you were just talking about. But
Yeah.
I felt like we're rolling, we're kicking it like a couple of fellas, and I didn't want that to get missed on the episode. I met you singing karaoke, and everything I needed to know about your personality before I knew how savagely talented you are as a rap artist. Savagely talented. I'm like, I got this dude's back. Whatever you want to do, you know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's refreshing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that about the karaoke's because, and like there are a few songs like if I know a song fully and I know I can do it, I know I can like kill it if I know the song and it's in my wheelhouse. But then there's other songs I sing and it probably would not sound good because it's not my style, it's not my wheelhouse. It might be too low or too high, and I can't bullshit songs.
No, but you can make it your own.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good. I learned how to be good at that. And but one of the things you mentioned about how people like stop and they're like, wow. When I was growing up doing musicals, there was like one or two kids who were phenomenal singers. They were so good. And it was the type of singing where we'd be practicing for a theater show. And there's this one kid who was like, he was
See where this is going. Go ahead.
He was singing like this national anthem for all the town whatever since he was like 8, you know, and he was going over to like the Mariners games and singing the national anthem in Seattle. And like he was that good of a singer, and we'd be doing our theater stuff or whatever, and they'd practice a part and everyone's talking or whatever, and he starts singing, everyone just stops what they're doing and they just listen and they watch. And this happened, it was like a couple months ago or like last year, like sometime during karaoke where I was singing and like it was like, because the person that went up before, everyone's talking, drinking, like whatever, and there was a lot of people there, so everyone's talking and drinking, and then I went up and started singing, and then I hit the hook on like the Sam Smith song I sang, where I'm like belting that like high note, and I remember seeing everybody just stop doing everything there. Even the bartender stopped doing like making drinks, and like everyone started like watching me, and I had this like moment where I was like, damn, I've actually kind of become what I've always wanted to like be, at least with some of these songs that I'm doing and like how I've been vocally. And even one of my producers, we were at a writing camp not too long ago, like a couple months ago, and they wanted me to like try singing some hooks or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll sing some random stuff. So I started singing, and my producer, Caro, who did the That's My Shit beat, he hasn't heard me sing in a few years because we've just been doing rap stuff. And he was even like, damn, he's like, where did that come from? He's like, when did you become like a good singer? And I'm like, because I think it's because of the karaoke. And I've literally been, because it's so different singing in your car or like singing on a mic.
Yeah.
Compared to singing live. It's so different. Singing live is completely different.
It so is. And you never, you can never really measure the demographic of the audience coming in.
Yeah.
Very much like auditioning for a film, you need Like someone doing a 2-minute monologue or a 1.5-minute monologue, like casting director knows probably within 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And the crowd, like if you've been singing long enough, you see the crowd, and that's about 20 seconds, 17 seconds that you're like,
Yeah.
all right, they'll like this, or they'll like that, or whatever.
Or they'll just stop
Yeah.
and just be like deer in the headlight, kind of just
But
like mesmerized by some singing.
But there's
you
nothing
know?
wrong. But getting back to what we were saying, there's nothing wrong with making something your own.
Yeah.
Right. Like one of my go-tos. I don't have we don't have go-tos anymore. We just
Yeah.
sing,
We
right?
just
But one of my go-tos in New York was "This Is How We Do It," Montel Jordan, right?
This how we
And
do
the
it.
host, her name is Kristen Velasquez. She never actually heard the original song.
Oh, really?
So one day after work, she's a school teacher, I think, and one day after work, she was on the radio, and she's like, I know the song, but I like Jason better. Because she was already tainted by
Right, your
what she
version.
thought was the original.
Yeah.
I'm not the original. Montel Jordan was the original, but
Yeah.
she had liked my version of the song. You've heard me sing All of Me, John Legend.
Mm-hmm.
On the notes, I'm not even going to be remotely close to you, and not even in the same stratosphere as John Legend. But taking a way to make that song mine,
Mm-hmm.
people stop drinking.
Yeah.
People
no,
stop-
and you,
people
and
stop
you
chatting.
know it so well.
Yeah,
you know?
people stop chatting. Yeah, I got a good. I thought it would go with age, but as far as like memorizing lines, once I know the lines, you know the lines by actually knowing the lines. So something Robert De Niro said, like if you're reading a script, the best way to get off book is to know your lines. Like when you know what you're saying, then you start talking, and you might miss the or at or a to or whatever, or maybe an article. But if you know your lines, you know what you're saying. So
Yeah.
so getting off book is faster. So that's just a technique.
Yeah.
Understanding your script. So, but yeah, holy shit. So, white rapper transitions. That's before your time. That's a weird question. Someone I have a whole bunch of questions, fan questions and shit like that.
Yeah.
But so white rappers. First white rapper I saw was, if you're not considering Blondie doing Rapture, right?
Right, Marky Mark.
Nah, way before him was the Beastie Boys.
Oh, Beastie
Bunch
Boys.
of Brooklyn
yeah.
cats,
No, I know
right?
Beastie Boys.
And
I
then-
grew up listening. I had like one of their fucking
Yeah.
cassette tapes.
And then third base, MC Search and Pete Nice, and the DJ Daddy Rich ended up becoming the more popular.
Yeah, I know DJ Daddy Rich.
But
I don't know the other
he
guy.
was their that's how he cut his teeth. He was
Okay.
their DJ for their first two albums, The Gas Face, Pop Goes the Weasel. Pete Nice is from Brooklyn, Search is from Queens.
Okay.
And two white rappers who were lyrically ahead of their time. And they only did the two albums, and then they broke up, and then did a couple albums, and then they were done. But it was because they were doing kind of Kanye West shit in the 80s, and they were white. And it wasn't what the move was.
Yeah.
The move was about branding, my Adidas, Big Daddy Kane, the Smooth Operator, what more could you ask for? LL Cool J is hard as hell. And then all of a sudden, gangster rap, right? Started with New Jack City with Ice-T, doing that little New York junk with Wesley Snipes of Marvin Peebles.
Or NWA.
Judd Nelson's then NWA. And then Ice Cube did his own thing. Eazy-E did his own thing. Dre
And
did his
Snoop
own
came
thing.
in, and then Dre came. Yeah.
Well, Dre was...
Yeah.
Dre was the 6 degrees of separation, right?
Right.
Without Dre, there's no Eminem. Without Dre, there's no Snoop. Without Dre, there's no Tupac. Without Dre, there's no 50.
Yeah.
So think about that. He's the Kevin
Who
Bacon.
else- who
He's
else
the
did-
Kevin Bacon of this shit.
Who else did Dre put on? He didn't. No. Okay. Jay-Z put on Kanye.
Yeah.
I was singing that.
Well, Jay-Z
Yeah,
is
that's-
fucking
Jay-Z
crazy
is
story,
just-
man.
Yeah.
The industry shunned me.
And
That's
there's
why I'm
Sean
taking all of
Paul.
the industry's money. Revenge
Yeah.
is sweet, honey.
Then there's Sean Combs.
Yes.
Yeah. P Diddy.
Yeah.
The thing I love most about P Diddy is he took the money that he made in his music, and he's the richest rapper, or like artist
Yeah.
even
Probably.
right now. 'Cause
Promoter.
I think he's
everything,
worth
yeah.
like what, near like $1 billion because of he put all his money into his companies,
Yeah, he did.
and he's like the richest fucking. If you look at like richest rapper, I'm sure P Diddy, Kanye's money probably.
Oh, we gotta look that up
online,
now.
but yeah.
So, I think this is where we got to give Eminem his props.
Mhm.
He showed white America that you don't have to talk about black things to be a good rapper.
Well, that was the culture.
You don't
of
hear
hip-hop.
Eminem, but you
Yeah.
don't hear Eminem talk about black shit. He talks about where he grew up and the way and
His own life experiences.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it became this transitional thing. And now if you look on TikTok or you look at whatever, everywhere you go, you see white rappers freestyling the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, no, 2022 is so different because it's not anyone's music, you know. I feel like art in general shouldn't be any one person's anything, you know. Like I feel like art should be uncontained by what people say it is. They're like, oh, this is only for this. It's like
Look who it is.
yeah. See, that's what I was saying. Kanye will jump around that number.
Hold on, wait. 30 richest rappers. This better not be. If this is a slideshow, I'm gonna fucking throw my computer out the window, dude. Oh hell, not to hell with that.
Yeah,
We ain't doing no slideshow.
type in a P Diddy net worth.
All right, let's do
Because
that.
I know Kanye's numbers be like jumping back and forth. He's like,
Yeah. Well, P Diddy got generational wealth. His kids, his grandkids, his great grandkids ain't got to worry about nothing.
oh, nothing. Yeah, he's $740 million in 2019. So the
As
last
of
2
2019, yeah.
So he's probably near $1 billion, if not more than $1 billion. This one says around 900 million.
Yep.
Yeah, he made so much money.
Holy sugar! It's a lot of work for 2-3 years, 2.5
Yeah,
years.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like because he's such a good businessman.
Yeah,
He's so good with business where he took, because like what artists only, like Ariana Grande is one of the like largest selling artists in the world, and she's maybe worth like 30 million.
Right. I know. His Jay-Z.
Because the labels own everything.
But Jay-Z, that was $520 million from 2014. We know. Come on.
Yeah.
What? Hold up.
See, that's what I'm
What?
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What the fuck, yo?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got to slide this on the screen. See
You
if I can
didn't?
fucking
Did you
do
not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's why I said Kanye's numbers might be different because he said he's a billionaire, but
Look at that shit, dude.
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, Sean Combs. I can't even read the other one.
Beyonce and Drake.
Yeah. Well, Beyonce and Jay-Z should be like combined.
Yeah,
They got to be the only couple that you know that's not going to split up.
right.
Right?
Sharing their wealth.
Yeah. Ice Cube, man, he gained his wealth by actually not creating, but going with that rivalry, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a case of divide and conquer, but you let a Jew break up my crew. You know, that was Cube, dude. That song, there was a song called No Gasoline.
Oh,
No
yeah,
Vaseline.
Yeah, no Vaseline. Yeah,
Yes. No Vaseline, just a match and a little bit of gasoline. Light them up, curl them up, flame on till that Jerry curl is gone. But the beginning, I mean, Straight Outta Compton actually showed like the chronology and how that happened. But I lived through that time. I was in the Army at the time when NWA made that album about Ice Cube. It's like, you know, you're a bitch, all this stuff. And then Ice Cube, 19 songs. I'm listening to the whole album. I'm like, wow, he's seriously going to let them get away with that. And then the song number 20.
No Vaseline.
It ain't over, motherfucker. Like you thought I forgot about you. And the first bar was, God damn, I'm glad y'all set it off. You used to be hard. Now you just went soft. First you was down with the AK. And now I see you on a video with Michelet looking like straight bozos. I saw it coming. That's why I went solo and kept on stomping while y'all motherfuckers moved straight out of Compton. Whoa. Living way out in one big, with a white dude in one big house. I'm like, that is the worst thing you could have said to a gangster rapper, even if he wasn't about that life. You just destroyed their brand.
Yeah.
You destroyed their brand. You can't be a nigga for life crew with a white Jew telling you what to do. Man, that song with that just destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. And NWA didn't even make an album after that.
Yeah.
It was Niggas for Life. And then Ice Cube, well, America's Most Wanted is what got him on the map by himself. But then he made a album called Death Certificate. And that was controversial because he went straight up racist with the Koreans. And he didn't mean to be racist. He was just saying that we're your biggest customers. You're in a store in an all-black neighborhood. Why are you treating us like shit? Why are you watching every damn move that I make? I'm in the store, you know. That was another song, you know. Thinking every brother in the world's out to take, so they watch every damn move that I make. They hope I don't pull out a gat and try to rob their fucking little store, but bitch, I got a job.
And you got all these lyrics on lock.
Yeah, so, well,
But
it's
these
in
are
my
like
muscle.
lyrics you grew up with. Yeah.
But it's in my muscle memory, right?
Right.
Like, where I grew up, you had to call someone on the phone. There were no fucking cell phones. So,
Yeah.
I don't remember my wife's number, but I remember my home phone number growing up.
Oh yeah,
remember-
I still have my home phone number. I got all my.
Do you
friends.
remember your home phone
Oh
number?
yeah, I remember all my
Yeah.
friends' home phone numbers. They're like when we first got cell phones. I still remember like calling all my friends like from a home phone on their cell phone. So like I got like all my friends' numbers, cell phone numbers, my family's cell phone numbers. Like I still remember all that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, we just made 2 different files on Facebook. Problem with Facebook is this is recorded like 590 like frames per second, and Facebook is like a 30 thing. So 15 minutes in, it just starts looking choppy. So I do like a hook, and until I find a way to get my tech back or someone shows me how to do it, I ain't doing a lot of stuff on Facebook no more. And for other reasons that we were talking about before.
Right.
Yeah. So what an interesting time, man. How did you fucking survive all this? You moved here, right? And then this pandemic happens, and then, you know, you're still trying to find a way to be a creative artist and still trying to find a way to get noticed. Was it all? How much did social media play a part in that?
I mean, social media was kind of everything. When you know the lockdown happened, it was actually kind of nice because I made so much music during that. It was like, you know, I was just getting up, going to the gym, come home, work on music, and then the same thing with Younger Hippie and Hop, where you know because we all worked out at the same gym, so we go to the gym, come home, Hop be working on beats, Hippie would be working on tracks, I'd be working on tracks, and then
Wow.
when I ended up, it was during the lockdown where Caro sent me like a few beats, and one of the beats was with that beat. He was sending me stuff, and then I think we were on FaceTime or something, and he's going through beats on his like laptop, and then he hits one, he's like, yeah, I don't, and he hits it, and I hear it, and then he skips it. I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? Because he be holding out on beats. He be holding out. I would like send him, or like he'll send me stuff, and then like later he'll be like going through some beats. And I'm like, bro, that one's hard. Like, why didn't you send me this? Oh, I didn't think you'd fuck with it. I'm like, every time it's the beat that he doesn't think I fuck with. Same thing with Hop, too.
It's like, don't think.
Yeah, don't think. Just send me whatever the fuck it. I don't care if it has a Teletubby sample on it. Like, whatever it is. Like, just send it to me. Like, you'll never know if I like I never know if I like it or not like it. So I remember hearing that one. I was like, bro, send it to me, like, right now. So he sends it to me. And, like, 30 minutes later, I sent him, like, the hook and the fucking, the first verse. I sent it over to him, like, for that song. It's like 30 minutes later, I sent it back. He's like, yo, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, yeah, I told you.
It's fat like that.
Yeah, and then so I ended up like finishing it. I finished that one pretty quick. And then and when we and so the whole thing with like the Rock's Tequila Terramana, we tried it and I was like, yo, this is like, and like we love The Rock. Like he's an amazing guy. Like, and his work ethic is like insane.
Yeah,
That dude does everything. And he still hits the gym. He still eats healthy. He does so much stuff, and he's still like a genuine person, and seems to have energy every day. I don't know how.
It's his father and it's Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
Those dudes are about hard work, and then he came up in the business. His father was Rocky Johnson.
yeah.
His grandfather was the High Chief Peter Maivia. So he's a 3rd-generation superstar. Really wanted to play football, right? Is that his story? He
wanted to play football. I think he had too many injuries.
He won a national championship with Miami with the Hurricanes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And then McMahon. I know Vince is.
He's completely empathetic too, and sympathetic to people who are getting bullied, because he grew up to kind of be a bully. Like he was always hazing people and bullying people, and it wasn't really hard for him to create the persona of The Rock.
Right.
To be that, where he did that and found a way to make it look playful and satirical. But I think because when you have that platform and people have all these opinions, you can't ignore all the noise. You do become hypersensitive. And I think, you're right. He's trying to find ways to be a better version of himself every day. Through my estimation, I'm way on the outside looking in. But in my experience, I know when people are trying to do that. I know when people value hard work. I know when people appreciate being rewarded for that hard work. And most importantly, I know people that ingratiate themselves with a group of people that keep them that way. Because this is all coming back to you, what we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast, right? Look at all of the successful people. LeBron James, right? He has a group of people he rolls with, and if they're not producing, they're not with him.
Yeah.
They're not willing. And I think I could probably say the same thing about The Rock. If they're not producing, they're not with him, unless they're friends. Like your friends, you're in a situation, they're with you because of your friends, but wow, as fate would have it, they're also producing, right? So,
Yeah, as fate would have it. Yeah, we're all working towards the same goal.
Yeah. The good thing about the pandemic is you were being single helped. Because a single guy could be like, wait, I'm supposed to stay in my house and play video games for fucking 4 months until I get a jab? I'm good. Let's do
10
it.
months.
Let's do it, right? Yeah, 10 months, 11
However
months,
long
12
it was.
months, 2
Yeah.
masks, 3 masks, 4 masks, 5 masks. We can go all day on that.
Yeah. But no, it was during the pandemic or not pandemic, during the lockdown where Dwayne Johnson ended up like following me on Instagram and reposting my music and everything. So it was during that time. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, the lockdown was detrimental to this," or like, "Oh, the lockdown sucked." And I was like, "Bro, my lockdown."
I was gonna say
was
it
where I
sucked for
blew
some
up
people.
during the lockdown. Yeah, I was like, I did really well during the lockdown.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
Me too, because all of my guests were in studio until the lockdown. Then Zoom, all of a sudden, like, you know, Sharif from Qatar. All right, we could Zoom from Doha. My boy Mackenzie, Dave Mackenzie was in, I think, Thailand.
Okay.
Boom. Tina Gurdina, who was in the Olympics, representing Latvia. We did that podcast.
So?
She was in Latvia. Well, she's here now because she's playing one more year at USC for Dane Bland for Beach.
Okay.
So I was limited. I mean, there's something very organic about us sitting in a room and doing this, and it's always gonna feel better to have someone in the room and you're chilling and we're drinking and this and that. But it enhanced the star power of my guest.
Yeah.
That were unable to fly in or just.
Yeah, because now they
have.
have the time to just be able to do it online real quick instead of flying out, coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for volleyball, my guest list is really cool. It's rock star. There's another podcaster within the game. He does only like the top players, and for him, I say good for him because I think there's more colors. There are people. Oh, the top players aren't the only ones that have a story to tell.
Right. There's other stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him ridiculous, but the idea that the only way you could succeed is only by talking to people who are the best of the best is a mistake. Because there are people who make things happen on a more human level that we respect.
Yeah.
There's that romanticism where your hero is not endowed with these superpowers. He's Bruce Willis. He's just a cop from New York trying to survive. Remember Die Hard?
Right. Yeah,
Right?
I remember Die Hard.
That's that kind of virtue. That's a different kind of hero. He doesn't, he can't move planets, and Wonder Woman, right? He can't block bullets with his bracelet. He doesn't have a lasso that makes men tell the truth, which is, I guess, kind of fun. He's that, right?
Yeah. We can talk about superhero stuff.
Right.
A whole nother.
Yeah,
talk.
come on, man. I'm a club coach, and I call one of my players Wonder Woman, and I wanted them to make sure it was okay with her parents, having that nickname. But she's taller than the rest of the girls. She's 13. She's 5'10", and she stands. Her mother probably told her not to hunch.
Yeah.
Don't be doing this just to roll with the pack. Do this, right? If they want you to be an ensemble person, you stand straight. And if they should have fucking had you for the lead. Mm-hmm. And she stands like she's fighting crime.
Yeah.
So she got to appreciate that depiction. That's her nickname. And I'm like, you're a superhero. You could block bullets with bracelets, right? Your family comes from gods. You have a rope that makes men tell the truth. What more could be ideal for a female volleyball player / superhero? So, yeah. So what's up next with you?
So right now, we're finishing some like legal stuff and whatever, but we're trying to release a single for this album I'm working on called Milestones.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly how much I can talk about the album, but the album, like I was telling you earlier about the whole like purple theme, like everything I've been rocking. So I was kind of upset I didn't have any of that on me, like I always do. So, but it plays into so the positive side of like the meaning of the color purple is like fame and luxury and riches and just like living like a lavish lifestyle. But then the negative connotations of the color purple are like pomposity and decadence and arrogance. And so the album kind of plays within that theme of trying to achieve the luxury and fame without falling into the pomposity and decadence and the negative connotations of how to get there.
Right.
So basically the album is kind of like telling my story of and it's called Milestones because there's certain milestones I've hit throughout the last few years of not only my music growing but myself growing, and then that helps my music grow. So it's this like cycle.
Yeah.
And there's this like overlining a theme within the album called like turning moments into milestones, and then milestones becoming moments. So we had this really cool design. I'm waiting to come out for the album, but it's awesome. And that just kind of plays, everything kind of like laps into each other. So it's kind of got like this infinity sign, and it's when it comes out, I'll let you know. It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think it's so relatable, in a sense that it's a topic that everyone wants to know about, but at the same time, not everyone wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We had a discussion early in the podcast about playing the validation game.
Yeah.
Like someone looking past you after you paid all those dues, you become resentful, you become spiteful, and you start saying, fuck you, I did this, I did that, I did this. And then you become what you despise.
Yeah.
So that's what is the segue or the gateway drug to arrogance,
Right.
to pompous nature. Because you feel like you have to gas yourself up for people to respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes from this. A lot of that stuff comes from this honest, hardworking place. That's one type of arrogant person that doesn't even know, at many times, that they become what they despise.
Exactly.
They don't want to. There's people out there, they don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that they're born to be that way. Maybe they didn't work hard. Maybe they did. I'm here. You're there. So what? You know, do something with your life. You know, and so there's so many colors that allow you to explore as an artist. That is going to have people critique your songs, and at the same time see where you're coming from.
And what's cool about that is all the negative connotations. We're actually shooting a short film. We're going to be shooting soon, but we're working on the script right now, the screenplay for the short film. The short film is going to go with the album, but it's going to be a premonition of what I wouldn't want to happen to reaching that, like as we were talking about with the pomposity and like reaching that. So the short film is going to be playing the negative side of what could happen, and like one of my fears of what could happen.
Right.
Where I'm surrounded by people I don't want to be around. I'm the person I don't want to be, and because I try to work so much on like being a better person. I don't want to hit a different route and be somebody I didn't want to be. You know?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so many. Can you appreciate how you could bang out like 20 songs from that, because it's so many different colors? We just talked about two completely different things.
Yeah.
That shape that kind of person.
Yeah.
The person, again, it's the person that they either wear it proudly, or they're unaware that they became what they despise.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that plays into like introspection and how well you can look at yourself objectively and not subjectively, and not who you're gonna be after you reach your goal, but like who you are now. Nice. So I feel like a lot of people throw that aside, where they're like, oh, I can be this person for now because down the road I'm gonna be doing this for everybody. I'm gonna be giving back. I'm gonna be doing this, but you could be chasing that your whole life. Yeah. And then your entire life, you're just somebody you don't want to be because you're trying to reach to a goal of a point of, oh, I can be that person later.
Right. Yeah.
I got to be this person now. But like, how long does that last for?
I don't know. Maybe it never happens. Maybe if people take a better mental approach, embracing the journey as opposed to the destination, they could have a better time at it and appreciate the highs and lows. That's something I learned. It's not the end game. It's actually the journey itself. So
yeah, absolutely.
Very much applies to theater. We were just talking about theater. We were talking about singing. There's two kinds of theater. There's Sanford Meisner and like Stanislavski, where if you're doing a scene, right, and you get up and move across a room, you need a reason to.
Yeah.
Before you do it.
Yeah.
Because that's their style. And then there's Michael Chekhov, which is like, nah, fuck that. Just get up, move across the room, come back, move across the room again, come back, see how it feels, explore the why, and figure out the why organically. And when you figure out the why organically, it makes you a better performer. So, and of course, I'm making one sound a little bit more noble than the other, but that's just two different ways. To skin that cat. So, wow, man, you hot? You hot yet?
It's kind of hot in here.
Yeah, this studio. That's that backlight, man. I want to make sure everybody sees this handsome face.
That's fair.
Before we go, is there an Instagram handle or anything? People want to know more about you.
Yeah, so my artist name is Dyve with a Y, so it's Dyve. And then most of the time, if you type that in on Instagram, you'll see me, and it's only Dyve.
Nice.
That's my Instagram handle. So
you want to do a bar about this fucking room and about how hot it is? You're like, nah. All right, so check it out, people. My dude Dyve might love you, but I don't love you. In fact, I'm out of here, dude. In fact, I can't stand any of y'all. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads, for all of you on your iPhone at Starbucks, for all of you on your Droid, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world, old school. For my boy Dyve, I'm so glad to have you on. This is episode 129. This is the Option Podcast. I'm Jason DeBillius. Stay with me. I'm going to hit my music. You can tell I'm teching my own show. We're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.